the most dangerous combat sport in the world, American politics. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of fact checking. We're going to be taking a look at DARREN MONROE politics. I like Darren. He's very good. He's a very good analytical guy, and he's going to break it down how he believes that his bold prediction, GOP death year, that's today, which was the 22nd of, actually it was yesterday, 22nd of this month, January. So we're coming to you today, which is January 23rd. So he had his bold prediction yesterday, but we're going to commentate on it a little bit. And so, yeah, let's listen to what Darren is saying. Now, oh, by the way, let's get some input here, because basically, we want to fact check Darren, see what he's talking about. And so we're going to take a quick look. His key points: GOP, internal civil war, Republicans in Nevada over Trump's actions, particularly regarding war powers, Venezuela with traditional Republicans leaving and MAGA loyalists struggling to maintain control. Okay, so further he says that Trump's decline in health, which is what I want to get into, and leadership. Darren speaks Trump's physical and mental deterioration will accelerate, citing erratic behavior like the Norway Greenland letter and concerns from medical professionals. Let's listen to Darren. Let's go to Darren. Okay, come on, Darren, let's go.
I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Trump's GOP death is very, very near. And I'm going to say some opposite stuff than you've ever heard from anybody else from creators, and you want to hear every bit of this. Here's the thing. Number one, the biggest thing, well, before I get into that, number 0 is I don't want the man to die. I want him to live. Everybody's like, oh, he wants to die, to die. Not only just because of karma and death and God, I leave that up to them. I don't wish no death on anybody. But the real reason I want him to live is I want him to drag this motherfucking party to the ground. And I know you do too. Come on, let him bleed out. Put in the comments, bleed out. We want him to bleed out. We want him to take down this party so bad that it's the 2040s until we see a GOP president. Fuck that. No more GOP presidents. No more GOP majority in Congress. It's time that we got to fix this shit over the next 10 years that we got right now. Because if we don't fix this, we're going to be in big problems. Let's go into number 1. Number 1 reason I believe they're doing it is because they have a civil war going on that nobody really talks openly about. He begged 2 people to come over to his side to stop the resolution to hold his powers from attacking Venezuela. In other words, going forward, they don't want him to do anything else with Venezuela or anywhere else. So we're going to curb his war powers, right? He had to pull 2 people. That's never happened in 12 months. Never happened. Here's the interesting thing about that, too. I believe the next group that he's going to take on is Cuba. I think he's going to try to kidnap the Cuba person. He's the leader of Cuba because it is an open door territory. He's not going to stop. He's just going to keep going. And I believe that the GOP has had it, but they're afraid because they know without the Trump MAGA base going forward, they got a good chance of getting their ass kicked because these midterms are going to stomp them out. Honestly, I don't think he matters. I think we're going to stomp them out anyway. But the reason I really want to lean into the GOP base dying is that they have very little leadership. They're mad at Mike Johnson. They're back and forth going at each other. It is not looking good for them. And the only thing that might save them, if they kind of stay in Trump's good graces, they can get enough MAGAs to vote with them because MAGA's so stupid, they don't realize that big, beautiful bill is going to kick their ass because it's coming after the midterms and is fucking over all their health care and their benefits, whether they're veterans, whether they're on Medicaid, Medicare, Affordable Care Act. They are getting fucked by the GOP, and these people don't realize it. And the reality is this is going to lead to, again, the GOP death in the midterms in 2028 as well, and it's going to lead to a major breaking away from the MAGA world. Number 2, Donald Trump's going to die. I said it. Donald Trump's going to die. I believe, let me put it to you this. I believe what the doctors are saying. I'm not a doctor. I'm not nor am I a fortune teller. So give me some lottery numbers or something. But no, that he's going to die. And we're all going to die, but I believe he's going to go quicker, according to medical professionals across, including the previous medical professional for the doctor for Trump. He said he needs to be examined for medical conditions. He is not only breaking down physically, but mentally, especially that letter he sent to Norway talking about, I'm going to evade Greenland because I didn't get a Nobel Peace Prize. What? I mean, this is the ongoing thing of his madness, the mad so-called wannabe game. And one of the things I think that's going to bring them down is bring down not only internationally, our credibility is being shot right now, but also domestically, our credibility is being shot because of this idiocracy that he's doing with the DOJ, with the FBI, with ICE, with the Department of Homeland Security, with this ongoing shit show. Welcome to the shit show is absolutely the reason that's going to drag down the GOP to the fucking ground. Now, I got some bombshells coming too, so listen to the bombshells after the third one. The third one comes down to this. There's too many people telling them too many things. Who's them? The GOP Congress. Too many people telling them too many things. The White House is saying one thing. The judicial branch is saying another. The people are saying another. Now, they should be listening to their people, but here's where their death blow comes. You are kicking your own people out of your town hall meetings for asking questions. Oh, that's smart. Don't get me wrong. The Democrats are idiots, too, because both Jeffries and Booker, instead of sitting on the Capitol Hill steps looking like fucking Schoolhouse Rock, I'm just a bill, I'm only a bill. They doing a sit-in, and I'm like, sit-in? Bitch, get your ass out to them red states and talk. We would have had a bigger last November if they had done that. They still got time. They should be out in them red states talking. Because here's the thing, Bernie and AOC were right. They need to be out there fighting. But the GOP is doing stupid shit like kicking out their own people and thinking they can talk crazy to them and fuck them over. Like they're not representatives of the very people they're representatives for. There is an arrogance with the GOP that has been ongoing, but what's crazy now is crazier than ever. And those of us on the left.
We're going to stop there for a quick second and take a look at this over here. Thought that was this is kind of interesting because this is today, which is reported today, which is the 23rd, and it says Donald Trump said an American armada, this is quote unquote, is heading toward Iran as the death toll for the regime crackdown on nationwide unrest rose past at least 5,000 activists said. Let me read that one more time. President Donald Trump said an American, quote, armada, unquote, is heading toward Iran as the death toll from the regime's crackdown on nationwide unrest rose past at least 5,000 activists, said. Tehran on Friday dismissed a completely false Trump's reported suggestion that the threats had halted and planned executions of more than 800 protesters. Trump has said that such killings would be a trigger for him to launch military action. Here we go. It says, quote, I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit, unquote. He told reporters on Air Force One as he returned from the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And an hour before this horrible event, they canceled it, he said. That was a good sign. That's quote unquote as it starts here, and an hour before this quote unquote. So anyway, this is what's going on. Trump added that quote, we have an armada heading that direction, and maybe we won't have to use it, unquote. The United States has, quote, a big force going to Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, unquote. He added, but, quote, we have a lot of ships going that directions just in case, unquote. So it's like Donald Trump is trying to do something. Anyway, this is what been reported. We're going to talk about Darren. We're going to get back to Darren. So go ahead, Darren. Pick up where you left off.
We wish our group would have a little more balls, and they're just 7 people who just voted. 7 Democrats just voted to refund ICE, literally the last day. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is the 3rd time, so they've avoided a shutdown. People were asking me about a month ago, are they going to fight the shutdown? I said, well, did they fight it the last 2 times? The first time they had Schumer and 9 others, 10 of them. The second time they had 8. This time they have 7. Next time they're going to have 6. Then they're going to have 5, 4, 3, 2. You see what I'm saying? They're always turning on us. But on the Republican side, where they're screwing up, is kicking your own people out of your town hall meetings, buddy, ain't a smart idea. There's a whole bunch of stupid going on there. On top of that, there's some really bombshell things you probably haven't thought about when we talk about GOP and bleeding out. You have sacred cow people in government who are GOP people leaving. They are leaving. And with the midterm elections coming up, they're going to get replaced by Democrats. Yay for us. But the whole idea is that the major power players are out the door. They see the writing on the wall. You got rid of the Reagan, the Bush Republicans out the door. And there weren't many MAGA Republicans. It's just people who follow what MAGA and Trump says. The problem is, what happens when Trump dies? Because if he dies, they lose half the MAGA base, and then there's going to be a bigger civil war for us. Yay, okay? So yay, civil war with Republicans. Then the other thing that's going to happen is J.D. Vance is going to come in, and he's an arrogant son of a fuck, as we all know, but he's arrogant. But the problem is that J.D. Vance can't lead these people. They don't like or respect him, both in Congress and the MAGA people. Nobody likes him. So he's coming in as Gerald Ford, basically our common day Gerald Ford. Some of you old enough to remember him coming after Nixon. He had the audacity to think he might be president again. Like, no, you're just a placeholder, fool. You're just a placeholder. You should have went after Nixon, right? Yeah. Here's the thing. This group is not like in JD. If Trump gets kicked out over Epstein's list, which he could, and then the states go after him, JD is coming, but JD can't pardon somebody where the states go after him, and a lot of this stuff in Epstein's has happened in New York. Letitia James could get that ass. Here's the other scenario that's coming up with GOP going down. The more they make decisions on international affairs, the worse it gets. Every organization they leave, like the World Health Organization they just left, cost the American people, taxpayers, $100 million to leave because there's a fine. Basically, every time they break up, it's the stuff we got to reconnect and commit to in the future. See, leftists, I want you to understand, when we get Democrats in, you can't relax. You can't say, ooh, Democrats are in now, it's good. No, bitch. You have to continue to fight and put the pressure on them, because what we learned from this episode with Trump is that there's some weak-ass capitulating Democrats that aren't progressive. They're all about the same power, but they're not about helping us. We got problems, and I'm speaking as somebody who worked on Kamala's campaign, have a history of being a Democratic voter, worked on Obama's campaign. I'm telling you, we got a problem on the left. The other thing with this GOP death, and I believe it's going to bring them closer to it beyond these people, is if this big, beautiful bill, God forbid, hopefully with a midterm Democratic push majority, we can stop that big, beautiful bill from going active in 2027. Because if it goes active, there are literally millions that'll be affected by it, by shutting down their Medicaid, Medicare, Affordable Care Act, shutting down hospitals. It will be absolutely fucking disastrous. I want you to understand what is taking place right now. If that bill goes into effect, it will effectively kill the GOP party. It will kill them. It will throw them out the door, gone. Because millions of people are going to lose their health care. Trump's not going to be the same. If he's alive a year from now, he's not going to be the same person to even make that argument to the MAGA people and say it's the Democrats' fault. It's not the Democrats' fault. They basically walked into a shitstorm. They didn't stand up to Trump, meaning the GOP Congress. They should have, and they didn't. The good news is that the Supreme Court is starting to stand up to him. They're starting to say, wait a minute, you want to get rid of Lisa Cook, the Fed chair? That's not a good idea. They're saying, wait a minute, you want more campaign financing for the Republican Party? That's not a good idea. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me you want the ability for the tariffs to be used when we know he's making money off that, like he is with everything else? That's not a good idea. Speaking of which, this is another bombshell. Wall Street Journal, New York Times estimated he's made $1.4 billion. But they even admitted they're underestimated. I believe it's going to be more like 6 to 7 billion. You don't see the money. The reason you don't see the money is because he has 3 ways of dealing with money: cash, crypto, and wire transfers. And they're going across hundreds of offshore accounts, and they're moving out the door, and they're paying off Trump through his partners to make sure that he does policies with tariffs, that he does policies with Trump RX. Basically, he's going to do Trump RX. He's not trying to get rid of Obamacare or Affordable Care Act. He's trying to replace it with deals that he makes with pharmaceuticals that pay him under the table, or third parties who pay under the table. If you've been to watch my content, I went into this. You can search. The other thing is there are people who are paying I'm talking about trillion-billion-dollar companies and multi-trillion-dollar countries who are paying money to Trump through those meme coins. And where he gets that money and his organization gets that money is they loan that money out through the asset. So if the crypto is worth 100 million, but it's really worth like several billions, they can loan against that. And then they have the money working to earn more interest than.
Okay, here was the other bill. Here is where we will read this real quick here. It said Donald Trump has made at least $1.4 billion in personal profits since returning to office in January 2025. This income primarily comes from licensing his name for overseas projects and various media ventures, with his biggest moneymaker being cryptocurrency. His net worth reportedly jumped to $7.3 billion in 2025, up from $3.9 billion in 2024, largely due to investments in the social media and technological company he founded and cryptocurrency ventures. Right, so they ain't doing too bad. Okay, Dan, take off.
What the interest is on the loan. And of course, they live off that, and so on. So what they're able to do, and knowing Trump, he's writing off everything on his business. What they're able to do, and when he's not writing it off on the people, they're able to take this money and turn it into more money and flipping it around. But the problem that's going to bring him down and the GOP is the fact there are a lot of people watching. Both former and current intelligence officers, investigators. Oh, they're going to get him. On the grifting, yes. The only thing that's bigger than that they can get him on is on Epstein. but they're going to get him on this grifting. This is high, even higher than the 2024 election, even higher than the deportations. They're going to get him directly because his partners and people, there's going to be an investigation. They're going to get that ass. They're going to get that ass. And you say, when? I know a lot of people keep saying, well, when is this going to happen? It's going to take time. It ain't. You can't do anything with Pam Bondi and him in control of the DOJ. So we are talking less than 3 years, but we are talking. Time's going to go by a lot quicker. I know it seems like it's been a long 12 months, but the reality is this time is going to go by quick. And once we get to the midterms, it's going to be a different game for him to do anything as far as legislation. That's why it's so important for us to get there because, he's going there. And yes, he's going for the elections, but that's going to hurt him too because the civil servants are fighting against him like they did in 2020. And all 25 of the governors and attorney generals already know he's going to try to steal it. From Newsom to Witt to right over here in Chicago with JB, a real billionaire. They know it. So since they know it, it's action known, tactic blown. So that's going to hurt the GOP. Plus, he hasn't set up a successor. And even GOP has said, no way it's going to be J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. So he's basically making it's me or nothing, fuck you forever, which I love that. I think you do too. Fuck it. He doesn't have to die. He has to bleed out. Put in the comments, bleed out. Bleed out. He's just got to bleed out. That's all he's got to do. Because the more he bleeds out, the more he drags this fucking party from the congressional part all the way to the White House. And by the way, I'll say it again. 70% of the White House cabinet, they're going to jail. They're in trouble. They're in big, big trouble. And this is going to stomp them down. They have played this to a fucking bus. To a bus. It's happening. It's happening. What I want you to understand is this. I want you to grasp this. I want you to hold on to this. That I know, and those of you who have been following me all year, I know. It's like, shit, Darren. I just wish this end down. No, you don't. Dot the I's, cross the T's. We want this to drag the fuck out. Because in the long term, it's going to fuck them over. See, understanding the laws, history, and operations of our government, we know this. We know this one core thing, and that is that our justice system is slow, but it's definite, meaning it's slow, but when it comes for your ass, it comes for you. It's like a hurricane. Hurricane is slow. You can find out a week or so coming. The hurricane's coming. I'm a Katrina evacuee. I used to work in New Orleans. The Chicago guy knew nothing about hurricanes, man. I had to flee up out of there, man. I know people who died out of that. And sure enough, because I used to work for Q93, FM 98, AM 940, the main radio stations there, both in urban AC, and gospel. And I got to tell you, man, it was slow. It was coming. But the key point about this being slow and coming was that once it showed up. And that's what the justice system's like. Once it shows up, it shows up. And it's going to take a gut out of the GOP, especially in the form of Epstein, in the form of grifting, these scams, and in the form of the deportations. All this shit happening with ICE. ICE people going to jail by the thousands. Christy Nones going to jail. Pam Bondi going to jail. Stephen Miller going to jail. Tom Homan going to jail for real. He's supposed to be in jail right now. Hegseth going to jail for those Caribbean murders and for treason happening with Signalgate. Tulsi Gabbard could be going to jail. She's involved in that shit too. Questionable. There's a whole list of motherfuckers that are going down. This is going to gut the GOP so bad, it's ridiculous. The leadership's going to be completely different. It's going to be a complete shedding. It's going to be a drop down. And what I keep telling people is hold tight. Just hold tight. All you got to do is support the protesters of ICE and No Kings by spreading their videos at the very least, if you're not going out there and recording yourself. What else can you do? Well, you hear everybody tell you contact your Congress. I know it's a headache, but you got to keep going. They're counting on you getting tired and not doing that. Join indivisible.org. They are great because they got templates and ways to phone call and everything. They got very clever shit going on. Leah, and that's for a big shout out. Support your ACLU. By the way, when we talk about Indivisible, ACLU, NAACP, there are local chapters in your area you can support. So if you're not feeling them nationally, you can feel them locally. Support Democracy Forward. They've been beating Trump by 95% in courts. Support the immigration funds that are out there. You know, like the Midwest Immigration Defense Center. The defense, what's it called? The Midwest Immigration Defense Alliance. That's what it is, MIDA. And you can join the immigration project that they have with the ACLU and the SAFE Act. Look, SAFE, SAFE Act. Look them up. All right. You know, and then there's the IJC, the Immigration Justice, I believe it's committee. I could be wrong, or council. And then there's the NIJC, which is the National Immigration Justice Council. You have people to join, and you can support them, whether it be financially or support them getting on all their email lists, spread word on their social media so you help them spread out. I love you all. Stay strong. God bless America. God bless us all. Binge watch my content. And if I've earned your subscription, thank you.
All right.
I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Trump's GOP.
So let's support DARREN MONROE Politics. You find him on YouTube. I'm quite sure you find some blood cells. But anyway, this is DARREN. Go to DARREN. I support him. Established fabulous individual. I love you, DARREN. You're my guy, man. So yeah, support DARREN. Support DARREN. He's coming with content for sure, and very interesting stuff. So yeah, we really support DARREN because DARREN knows his stuff. I enjoy listening to DARREN, and that's the most. This is Ted King reporting for the most dangerous combat sport in the world. American politics. It's Fact Check Friday. Come back next week for another Fact Check Friday. Next week with the most dangerous combat sport in the world, American politics. With me, Ted King. Have a good one.